I'm sorry for the delay, but something went wrong in YouTube. As always, these things are not reliable 100%. So, hello everyone. Um, Give me a second. I'm going to see if I am actually going live on my other computer. Let me see. Bear with me. Yes, here I am. Hello. Estoy en vivo. I'm here with two of my assistants, and they are watching me closely here in my office. Yes, I'm there. So, yeah, you're right. So say hi everyone. Here's the chat. Hello, Lucy. Lucy is always here, and I'm very grateful to her for that. So let's see the chat, live chat. I want to write something to you guys. Hello, everyone. Yay! So, hello, Princess of Power. Otra oyente. I'm here with my two assistants who speak only Spanish and just a little English. So, bear with me. This is going to be maybe long. This is maybe a very long podcast. It depends on my humor, my mood. Today is a very we have children's holiday because the schools moved forward the winter holiday. So here we are. I have my two assistants here with me, and so it's been quite hectic all these past few days. And I wanted to make the part 3 of day 1 of Nicola Bulley's inquest. I couldn't do so until now. So yeah, but here I am. Hello everyone. So hello Lucy, hello Princess of Power. And so before this is going to be like I say, can you read the title of this live? It says Live Nicola Bulley 4th of July Waffling. So this is going to be a little bit of everything. It's not just going to be just about NIKKI, although I said today was going to be the third part of the first day. But before that, I wanted to say happy Independence Day to any free person in this world. Okay, the independence of the Americas are very important to me because I am in Latin America and we had our fair share of blood, sweat, and tears in order to get our independence from Spain, for example. My country had to get independence from the Queen, on the King of Spain in that time, in the 19th century, in the first decade, I think, and the USA's Independence Day was before that, but everything went from the French Revolution, okay, in the 18th century. So I believe that is what sparked it, the French Revolution, and that sparked revolutions and independences processes all over the Americas, because the Americas were, the ones who were under the crown, either from UK, from England, or from Portugal. And in your case, in the United States case, it was freedom from the crown of England. So, this is nothing to do with you guys. I know you guys from the UK are okay. Of course, has nothing to do with you, but this is for me personally, this is a historic time, the 4th of July, not because I am a fan of the United States, but because I am a fan of the independence, of being independent from another country who is overpowering you. And this is not to attack anyone, okay? It's just the way it is. It's history, okay? So happy Independence Day to everyone who is free, okay? And freedom is not just, freedom in the outside, it's freedom of the mind, of the spirit, it's true independence, okay? So that is why I put the United States flag, because it's not because I worship the flag. I don't worship any flag, actually. But it's, you can't deny that it is a strong, striking flag. So yeah, USA, motherfucker. Yeah. So here I am with my two assistants who are looking at me as if I was an alien. I mean, if you do get, hello, the 411. Oh yes, I love your channel. I have, I have heard of you. I mean, I think I saw a couple videos some time ago about NIKKI. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you support the hypothesis that it all is a psyop. Tell me, 411, if that's freedom. Yes, freedom, 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 freedom. Yeah, I mean, now we have how many people? Just 5 people watching. 5 people, 5 people watching. So it's not much, but it's something. And I'm not about the quantity. I am all about the quality. So hello and welcome, the 5 people who are watching right now. Happy Independence Day to you, because Independence Day is for everyone. It's not just the USA. And I picked this date because it's a big date for a big country in our world. So yeah, and the flag is quite beautiful, actually. Although I think that my flag is more beautiful, but hey. So the 411, freedom. Yes, freedom is utterly important. I am going to be waffling today. I'm not going just to talk about NIKKI's inquest, but I will talk about that. But I will waffle today because it's a beautiful day here. Even though we are here in South America, we are in the middle of winter. Today is very hot. It's like 22. Well, it's not very hot. It's warmish, and it's 22 degrees right now, and it's quite overcast, and surely it's going to rain. But it feels like summer. But I am in winter, so I'm. It's a very special day. I feel free now. I am free now for a couple hours, and it's the Independence Day, and it's independence for everyone, not just for the USA. Okay, so I may get political, but it's not political. It's just life. Okay, it's reality. So if you don't like that, just don't listen to me. Okay, so the 411. Okay, so the 411 says no, not psyop, no psyop, no psyop. Tell me, 411, why? I thought you believed in the psyop. Maybe I was wrong, but I'm sure I saw your channel, and yeah. So yeah, hello assistants. So yeah, so 411. But I know your channel. I'm sure I have watched a couple of videos, but there is another channel who was very good, who is called the Psyop Network or something like that. And it believed from the very beginning, I remember, that the Nicola Bulley case was a total psyop, okay, created by the government, by the deep state, by the MI5, MI6, I don't know. And I have to admit that, because you have to look everything, all the elements, and just be logical, in these times. If you told me there was a psyop and you showed me the proof, I wouldn't be surprised, to tell you the truth, because of the technology we have nowadays and the level of power people in the governments have now because of that technology. We are being, there is a big surveillance. They know all our data. So, and they know what we want. We know how we think. So it's more easy for a government aided by another agencies to create a psyop to manipulate us further into the ignorance, okay, into blindness, into ignorance. And if you showed me a psyop and you told me, okay, this my country did this psyop, and I have all the proof, and here's all the proof, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised. But because I do not have all the proof that the Nikki Bulley case is a psyop, I cannot say for sure that I think this is a psyop. Although I do admit that I find psyop elements to it, okay? But what I'm sure is, from what I have seen, is that the police and the government, they used this case as a weapon against the public, to victimize the public, to make the public as though they were the devil, literally, like the bad people, the bad guys, when in fact they are the bad guys. They are the ones who are in the wrong, because they are the ones who just handled this case terribly, very unprofessionally. And I don't know why, but it was always clear to me from the beginning that police, the Lancashire Constabulary, they are particularly corrupt and hideous. I mean, I don't know why they give me the creeps. I do not trust them. I have seen many true crime videos and from different UK constabularies, and some constabularies, you can see they are fine, they are great, but this one, the Lancashire, I don't know why, but they seem so corrupt and shady, and you can see it by the way they handle the Nikki Bulley case. And let's see the people here. The 411 says, I've been down many rabbit holes. Yeah, me too. I have contemplated, in this case, in the Nicola Bulley case, I have contemplated almost all the rabbit holes, because I have many theories, because there are many avenues, because everything is so open and ambiguous, and that you can't help but see all the avenues. And yeah, I have gone through some rabbit holes, but it's okay. At the end of the day, if there isn't real evidence, you can't say you can't pass judgment. I mean, you can say your opinion and your hypothesis, but you cannot say, okay, this is the truth. Yep, 411. So there's 5 people watching still. So hello. I hope you are having a nice summer day in UK, and if you're in Australia, in Down Under, Aussie land, which I love Aussie because I have family there, like I said before. It's winter there too in Australia, so hello Australia. Pop up if you are there and tell me how is the weather. And I hope you're having a nice summer day there in Europe, in the UK. And okay, so the 411 it's very corrupt. Lancashire Constabulary, I'm not talking, and well, I think it's my opinion, from what I have seen and learned, that the UK, England now is under a kind of fascist government, okay? Because when you see such corruption at a big constabulary like Lancashire, and how they are handling these cases where people actually die, you can see that when you see corruption in a big council or a big constabulary or whatever, you can bet anything that the government is letting those people get away with it, and the government is corrupt as well. And in the handling of the public, in saying that the public are nasty people, ghouls, they are so bad, and we are so poor me, and we are so good. When I see that, I can't believe that the government or the police could ever put the blame on the public, okay? Because they are there to protect the public, so they are to serve the public. So the public should just rise up and say, fuck you, we're going to rise up and just go there and have a talk. And it's incredible the way the Lancashire police has treated its citizens. It's a shame. It's shameful the way Andrew Snowden has treated the people. like if as if they were idiots in his own country. I can see his corruption and everybody else down the line, the coroner too. The coroner, Dr. Adderley, also has he just bought into the narrative, and I'm sure he is in the boys club as well, because he's a very important guy. Well, not important, but he belongs to the entertainment industry via his participation in Cause of Death, the series in the UK. So I'm sure he's going to go with the general narrative, the official narrative, that is the narrative of the government and the police. Yeah. And the sheep, of course, the people who believe this is true. Okay. So 411, wow, he is a clown. Who is a clown? Princess of Power Johnson, it's raining on coal. Hi. So, Princess of Power, are you in Australia? Yeah? Or in England? Is it raining and cold in England, or is raining and cold in Australia? Be more specific. Yeah, Snowden is who is a clown? Snowden. He's a clown? This is my opinion, and it's just I'm speaking with my freedom of speech. We have freedom of speech here in my country. In South America, we fought very hard for our freedom of speech. We're well versed in human rights. So if anyone there in the UK or Europe or whatever is thinking about coming against freedom of speech from this channel, they're going to be really, really, really in the wrong. And I'm going to call human rights institutions here in South America, that we have many, and it's going to be a big case. So don't dare do it. And of course, because I know police corruption, because I am from Latin America. Mi amor, ¿no puedes salir y cerrarme la ventana? Sorry, there's a noise. Someone started, I don't know why, using a huge ass machine in another house. Yeah. So I need to shut all the windows. Cerra bien. So yeah. Princess of England. Oh, so in England it's raining and cold. Oh no, that's not good. I mean, you're supposed to be in summer, and it's raining and cold, and I am in winter, and it's like 22 degrees Celsius, so it's very warm. And so yeah, Snowden, it's what I have studied him very well, and he has the arrogance of impunity. When someone is corrupt, especially politicians and police, when they are very corrupt, because there's corruption from the very top, okay? And this guy he's just in it for himself. That's what I think. I think he's how you say, he's climbing the ladder. He only cares about power. What little power and money can he get? He likes living like a rich guy, like as if he belonged to the bourgeoisie, the middle class. He thinks himself as middle class, and he, of course, if you know it, he studied military history, so that tells you a lot. I mean, I love military history. I mean, I like history, but he majored in university in military history, so that tells you something, doesn't it, about the guy? Let's see what 10 people watching. So hello everyone. Today is going to be, because it's the 4th of July, it's the day of the independence, and I want to put in this a little bit of revolution in this live today, because here in Latin America we're quite into that. So yeah, I'm going to put it a little bit of color of maybe a little bit of politics, but yeah, like universal politics, okay, and corruption. And then of course I'm going to intertwine all this with Nicola Bulley, okay. So the 411 says no, I'm not really sorry if you have been offended. You are not what? I don't get it. The 411, you say, no, I am not gritty. Sorry if you have been offended. No. What? I didn't get that. So, Princess of Power says, it's sad, gray, cloudy, and cold, and my tan is slowly fading. No, that is a bummer, isn't it? I mean, if you already got a tan from the summer and it's fading now, that's sad, okay? And I'm not a huge fan of the sun, because here the sun is like really scorching in summer, and I'm really like, my skin is very fair, so yeah. But I love the sun. I love the summer. I love the beach, but I don't love, tanning myself. I can't actually, because my skin goes like red, and it really it stings a lot, and and the sun last summer is like a frying pan. It's like a microwave oven, so I can't be in summer. I cannot be in the sun too much, because I start feeling like my skin is boiling. So that's not good. But I'm sorry about your tan, dear. Lucy says, I feel you at Princess of Power. Yeah, two English ladies. Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer when it's cold and rainy in the middle of summer. I don't like that. But today here, I mean, we have opposite weathers today. I'm in South America in the middle of winter and it's warm, and you're in the middle of summer and it's cold and rainy. Oh dear. And so nine people now watching. Okay, so it's like this is going to be a big waffle. So if you are up for it, fine. If you're not, that's fine too. So today, because of the 4th of July, I want to talk about independence and corruption, and what corruption I see in the NIKKI Bulley case, okay? Because the NIKKI Bulley case is just it's like the poster child for all the corruption that's going on. How many people have died in weird, strange circumstances, and the Lancashire Constabulary always manages to just dismiss it as, oh, it was just an accident. Even the other day, I was reading about another fail of the Lancashire Constabulary. This woman, I think it was last year, this woman, they ruled her death as accidental strangulation. I mean, what the fuck? Apparently she had strangled herself with her pajamas top, because it got caught in the oven door or something like that. And I was, what? I mean, how is that possible? Look, and this is St. Michael's. Yeah, we are local people. This is a local shop for local people. We do not want you here. Go away. Leave us alone with our little dirty secrets. Even though somebody who was lovely died in suspicious way. So the Lancashire police has done this already many times before. Like it's like people die and they just say, okay, she strangled herself. It's like, okay, what? How is that even possible? This was a case, I think it was last year. If you want to remind me, if you remember it, just say it in chat. And Lucy says, I feel you. Yeah, oh, that's crazy. Well, 7 people, so we have gone down now. So, of course, people do not like my waffling so much, but, it doesn't matter. So, I wanted to make a point of the Constabulary of Lancashire that, yeah, I mean, it's not just Nicola Bulley. Lots of people have died there in that county, and their deaths are just like, just like swatted away, as if there were like a heavy fly, that you want to just swat away because it's a nuisance. and you do not want to look very much into it. So many people have drowned in that county as of late. Lots of people have died in the river, and everything is tip top. Everything is fine. Nothing happened here, and I can't believe. But the woman with the who strangled herself. That's for me is the top one, apart from NIKKI, right? So yeah. So let me see if you're still in chat. Just I'm going to go into it right now. Let's talk about the inquest now. um so I was, the last time I spoke about it, uh was I stopped in the here. I was going to start with she's strangling bit, which is at 15:28 on the 26th of June 2023, Nicola Bulley's inquest, Taiwan. So, give me a minute now, okay? What? Yeah, so give me a minute, please. Y ya va a llenar un poquito. Faltan 20 minutos, ¿sí? Vayan a hacer algo. Necesito abrazar todo esto. ¿Qué, mi amor? Ah, llévatela. Sorry, guys, just a minute. My assistants are leaving. Porque ahora necesito estar un poquito ahí sola con la vida. I love you. Yeah. So, sorry, I have my two assistants, and now they are gone now from my office. So yeah. Yeah. So let's go to the inquest, the Nicola Bulley inquest, because and again, this is Gritty Astro, and as always, my lives are hectic. There's always noise. Somebody starts mowing their lawn out of the blue, just right next to me, the neighbor. So yeah, today I have two assistants, because school's out for the winter. So I'm going to pick up on the day one on the part 3 of the day 1 of the Nicola Bulley inquest. God rest her soul. And just if you have any question, just pop in the chat and ask me. Just to remind you guys, English is not my native language. My native language is Spanish. So if I come across as weird or strange, or maybe I come across as, I don't know, aggressive, or I say something that you don't, please tell me in chat, because it might be just a misunderstanding, okay? Maybe it's just a barrier of the language that I have. So 4 people now. Yeah, okay, I get it, I get it. People don't like waffling, and people don't like talking about the independence and all that, and blah, blah, blah. But it's all right, okay? It's fine. Just bear with me. Bear with me. I'm going to talk about the Nicola Bulley thing. Bear with me. Yeah. So, on the 26th of of June this year, at 15:28, Sue, speaking about Sue and Anne-Marie Fletcher, I don't know if you know Anne Marie, but she's the girl that Curtis Media caught on camera on one of her Penny videos, and she lives there. I think she lives. I don't know if she lives in the caravan, or I don't know the landscape very well, but she lives either with Penny or in one of the caravans, or maybe she was visiting. I don't know how that works, but one of the people who are seen in the Penny Bunny. That's a YouTuber. Hello, Penny Bunny. If you're listening, I know you from one of the groups. But anyway, Penny Lane, Penny Fletcher, Anne Marie lives with her, or she lives in a caravan there, or she was visiting there. I don't know, but she looked as if she lived there. And there are rumors that these people are trying to infiltrate the Nicola Bulley investigation groups. And this is from a quite good source, in my opinion. So, you know, why would these people do that? That's another question for you. Why would that family still be trying to get into the groups and, push a narrative? I don't know. So, Sue then came across Anne Marie Fletcher, Penny's daughter-in-law. So yeah, Anne Marie is the wife of, I think it's Rupert or Ronald or something. No, Ronald, not Rupert, I think, which is one of the sons of Penny. Okay, and Sue then came across Anne Marie Fletcher, Penny's daughter-in-law, who recognized Nicola from the picture and called the school. Okay. Um, why did she recognize Nikki? I mean, how did she know? So she's in the governance of the school, so maybe that is why she recognized her. But there's something in this village that doesn't sit right, okay? She managed to get hold of Paul on the phone. So, how did she get Paul's phone, right? So Sush said Anne Marie was on the phone to Paul, and then when she came off the phone, she said Paul had said she's struggling. So he said she's struggling. So Nikki's struggling. He said that he confided in Anne Marie Fletcher. Like, why would you say that about your partner, the mother of your children, to a stranger? Or someone you just barely know? She's struggling. Why would you disclose that information to these people? Okay, why would you say that? So that's so intimate about your partner who is missing, and you're panicky by this time, because you need to compare all this that I'm reading here. You have to compare it with the Channel 5 interview that Paul did. Yeah, because there he said that he was really panicky because he had I don't know if he had already talked to the school by then, and then Anne Marie called him. She says she got hold of Paul. Okay, so she phoned him. Maybe she got the phone number from the school because she works in the school, in the governance, which again is like, okay, involved in the school, right? So let's see if there's anybody there. Just 7 people watching and nothing in chat. I don't know why the chat has frozen. It's really weird. But anyway, is there anybody out there? Is anyone there? Anyway, just to see if the chat works. So why did she? Okay, maybe if Anne Marie she works in the school. Okay, she recognized NIKKI, but before Rog said he recognized Paul but not Nicola, which is weird because a man will always recognize a woman first, especially because NIKKI was the one who was walking the dog all the time, not Paul. Um, so it's kind of like maybe Paul had talked to Ron, because Paul seems to be like the type of person who is chatty and sociable to some people, but then he has like a hidden face uh, inside his house, okay? So he may have chatted with Ron, and that is why Ron registered his face, but not Nicola. But why wouldn't you recognize Nicola? She was a beautiful girl, and she was always walking her dog there. But anyway, Anne Marie was the one who recognized Nicola, from the picture and got hold of Paul. And Paul says to her on the phone, NIKKI is struggling. I mean, hello, Julie Ride. Hello. Hello, Lucy. Hello, Princess of Power. Yes, good. Uh, hello, gals. So why, that is another thing. Why would you say, okay, if I always put everything event as if it happens to me, how would I think about it? Okay, if he said that to a complete stranger, supposedly stranger, maybe he knew her from the school, but I'm sure he knows her better. And because Paul is local, they are all local, and they know each other. And he says to her, he confesses, NIKKI is struggling. So if you said that to a woman who you don't know is a stranger and you're panicky, why would you say that she's struggling if you thought later in Channel 5 with Dan Walker, you thought that everything was dandy, everything was tip-top, she was great, she was a pillar of strength, she was wonderful if she was your friend. Like, if she is your friend, she's wonderful. Oh, but she isn't. If she isn't, huh? Yeah, that I inferred that. Okay, he didn't say that, but yeah, I mean, if she's your friend, I'm paraphrasing Paul now from his Channel 5 interview. So, um, it doesn't match. It doesn't compute that he says to a stranger, and Marie, who he barely knows her apparently, or whatever. Maybe he does know her. He says to her on the phone, she's struggling. NIKKI is struggling. Then why would he present Nicola as if everything was fine, and she's not in the river? Something happened to her, like someone is responsible. There was foul play. That's what he inferred on his Channel 5 interview. So, but the first thing he says to her, to Anne Marie, is like she's struggling, like saying, oh, like, I mean, isn't that, if that's the truth, and he was worried because for NIKKI because she was struggling, why didn't he said that on Vanished? Why? I want to know why. Because I don't like that. Because on Banish, he presents this fairy tale, which is bullshit. Because she's struggling, isn't she? That's what you said. Lucy Anderson, that is a big statement to make about NIKKI and trying to direct blame onto her. Defensive behavior. Yes, she's struggling. I would say that to Anne Marie. If I was Paul, okay, I would say that to Anne Marie if I knew Anne Marie, and or maybe I knew her just from whatever, and I was really in panic mode, and it was true that NIKKI was struggling. Okay, I would have said she's struggling, like, I'm very scared because she's struggling, and she has had a few problems lately. But then why doesn't he air those concerns on the Channel 5 interview? Why does it make it as something happened to her? She's not in the river. I'm 100%, he said, and I quote, I'm 100% that she is not in the river. So, but his first reaction to Anne Marie is to say she's struggling, implying that NIKKI just went away, like she had an episode, mental episode, and she just went away, or she unalived herself in the river. Okay, so from these tiny words, these just few words here in the inquest, you can see that he wanted to implant the thought that NIKKI is struggling. She is her fault, like Lucy said. She has problems, you know. I mean, I would never ever say that about to anyone, you know, about my loved ones. Um, Even if it's true, maybe if I was really in a panic mode and I knew the person I was talking on the phone with, I would say that, but it doesn't compute with what he later said. Why didn't he say from the get-go, she is struggling, she has mental issues, she might have done away with herself, she might have gone away. Why didn't her sister said, "Nikki, we know you have problems, come home, it's fine"? You know, if that was the case, why present it as, "Ooh, we don't know what happened"? You know, it's like it's a mystery, you know, if she is struggling. Can you see that? Can you see the contradiction there in the discourse, in the narrative, okay, of the witnesses, okay? And 5 people watching. Hello, everyone. And then Paul arrived at the scene around 10 minutes later. So maybe he was already driving when she got hold of him, because 10 minutes is that the distance that you get to St. Michael's from Inskip in your car. Is that okay? 10 minutes? I don't remember. But yeah, probably 10 minutes is okay. Maybe he talked to her on his way because he had already learned from the school, right? So this was, oh, it doesn't say the times. She struggled. I mean, this piece of information, it doesn't say the time, so this is not good. Let's see, 10:12. So after 10:12 was this, and which is weird because here it doesn't say what time. He said at 11. He said at 10 to 11, the school called. But why don't we have the times here? So if at 10 to 11, the school called, there's an hour unaccounted for again, okay? What happened there in that timeline? And so Paul arrived at the scene around 10 minutes later. This would be around what, 10, 11, 11:10? Correct me if I'm wrong, what you think. Sue says she then put the harness on Willow. Okay. She was okay with the harness, and I started to walk the dog towards the metal gates, and the dog wouldn't move. So the dog was afraid. The dog Willow was stalling, maybe because he was in strangers' hands, and Willow didn't trust her. But then she says, then the dog turned around. There was a retractable. The lead. She needed the lead. She said that there was a retractable lead hanging down hanging down from Willow. And when I moved that, she was fine. So this means that Willow was what, a dog of, or a creature of habit, and she needed people to grab the lead, the retractable lead. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you were putting the harness on Willow and there was a lead hanging down from what, from the harness, right? It doesn't make very much sense how she says, how she accounts for what happened. It's all very hazy, okay, and that's another big red flag. Some people told me that you can get a transcript of the inquest if you write to the coroner's office, and you may have to pay a fee or whatever. But if anyone has the transcript, I would really want to read it. the actual words, because this is just like a summed up, update. You don't have the time. It's not very professionally done, in my opinion. So then there's Paul. She's struggling. Now we go to screaming her. Okay, here's the two screams. Okay, two screams detected by two different women in different places near where NIKKI was, in the surrounding area at the time that something happened to NIKKI. Okay, yeah. So the two women have spoken of hearing a scream near the riverside on the morning Nicola vanished. So it says hearing a scream near the riverside. So what are the odds on that cold January morning, middle of winter? What will be the chances of two different witnesses that we know of heard the same scream of a woman coming from the river area? What are the odds? Not many, I would say, because let's go on. Nurse Helen O'Neill said she was with her dogs in the garden of her house on Allotment Lane, not far from a path that leads to the bench overlooking the river. She told the inquest, "I heard a scream. It's not an alarming noise." So maybe because it was a short scream. It would be more alarming if it was like a long harrowing scream. So she heard a short scream, right? It's not an alarming noise. It was just over in a couple of seconds. So it was like that, like 2 seconds. But it was a scream. I mean, if it had been just like this, she wouldn't have heard it. So it was a scream, and it was a quick one. Okay, just a couple of seconds. Isn't that weird? In the middle of nowhere, in the middle of winter, in early in the morning, next to the river where Nicola disappeared, and it's not relevant. They have discounted those screams. The council, the barrister, said that those screams were not relevant. I mean, what? It's unbelievable. And she said, let's continue. There's someone there. Hello, Martin. Uh, he says these witness accounts should have been questioned closely by the coroner, but weren't. Yes, because the coroner is he's been bought, in my opinion. He's corrupt. Hi, Martin. Hi. Yeah. So let's go on. Just put yourself in that situation, in that cold middle of the winter morning, in the middle of nowhere, near a river, in a field, when you can't see beyond because there are bushes and there's a river. It's the middle of nowhere, early in the morning, in the middle of winter. Not many dog walkers that morning, but two different witnesses hear the same scream after 9. Okay, but the coroner dismissed it, and the barrister, they said that it wasn't relevant, which is terribly, terribly wrong. And yeah, so I continue. She says, not an alarming noise. It was just over in a couple of seconds. I'm quite used to hearing the children in the school out back, but it was not that noise. Exactly, because it's like I said on my previous podcast. Sometimes I hear scream and I say, "What's that?" But it's there. You realize it's kids from the high school, and kids love to shout. But sometimes it's just like, what is that? But her psyche, her instinct said it's not that kind of scream. It's not a scream coming from the school. Okay, so it was another kind of scream, and that is the scream of Nicola Bulley. I vividly remember thinking it's unusual at this time. Exactly, because it was very, very early. Well, not very, very early, but it was early in the morning. And she says, in my head I had two females. So always, I always trust the instinct of women, okay, because I trust my own instinct. And the first thing that came to her mind was that there were two females walking alone by the river, and one jumped out on the other. So her mind is trying to tell her that what she hears, the scream, it's someone attacking another person. Of course, there are the naysayers saying that, oh, it was just, she thought there were teenagers. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's relevant because there were no teenagers in the area around the river that morning, right? It was NIKKI, and she was jumped on. She was jumped out on by another person, and that's the theory of the attack, which I believe a lot. And she said, I didn't think anything of it until later on. Yeah, because in the moment you just, okay, it was just a short scream, and okay. I mean, if it had been many screams, she would have been concerned, but she wasn't, because it was just the one scream, which is someone who is grabbed by surprise, attacked by surprise, or pushed by surprise, attacked, whatever, jumped on, okay? And then she was incapacitated. Maybe somebody put a rag on her mouth, or they pushed her, okay? So she couldn't scream anymore, because if she could have screamed any more, she would have, but she couldn't, could she? And there were no other sounds for me to be concerned about. Yeah, because it was over in a minute, and if she came by death unlawfully, it would have been over just in a few minutes, because it would have been done very quickly. I mean, you had to do it very quickly, because people would come by again, right? Other dog walkers, whatever, other witnesses. And a second witness, Veronica Klesen, a housewife and club secretary for the village tennis club, said, I was just about to get into the car, and I heard a scream, a very short scream, like Helen said before, and my immediate thought was, somebody's having a bit of fun at the back of the graveyard. Miss Klesen said it was an inhale scream, like a sharp intake of breath, like that. But it has to be a scream. It's not just like a, because if it was just that, you wouldn't heard it. Okay, it was a scream. So what does it tell you? I mean, it's like she plays it lightly. Oh, some kids are having a bit of fun in the back of the graveyard. Maybe she thought, what, they were having sex, like kids? I mean, what is she talking about? I know she said somebody is having a bit of fun at the back of the graveyard. I mean, that's creepy, isn't it? You know, having fun at the graveyard. What is that all about, Mrs. Klesen? But yeah, I mean, the fact remains that there are two separate witnesses that heard the same scream in the same area around the same time, okay? It was an inhale scream, like like when you inhale, but she was a scream. It was louder, so NIKKI was really scared, okay? What do you think? Is there anybody out there saying anything? There were early reports of an altercation at the top field around 9:15, 9:20. What happened with that account? Yeah. An altercation, yeah, it's true. In the beginning of this case, there were reports of altercation, yeah. In the top field, right, near Rowan Water. Maybe the altercation started there, and it happened there, you know, but then they put the phone. But because the phone was found on the ground at first, and then placed on the bench, which is, for me, is one of the biggest ones for me, that she was attacked. or that she lost control, but in a suspicious way. Yeah, if it was in the top field near Rome water, where the fishermen are, and there's another body of water there, she could have been abducted from there, go through that gate at Rome water, and nobody would be the wiser. Okay, and then the phone was just maybe just thrown there or whatever in a rush. Who knows? It could be the whole, both scenarios. Okay. This part makes me sad, thinking that NIKKI is screaming, and that heartbeat rise was recorded on the Fitbit. Yeah, and around, yeah. So for me, always they conclude that because the heart rate went up is because she fell on the river by an accidentally, and of course, adrenaline rushed to her body, and her heart was beating like 100 beats per minute or something like that. And but also it could be perfectly because an adrenaline rush, because she was attacked, okay, quickly attacked, because she was having an altercation, and then she was attacked. Okay, so let's continue on. What do we have here? Fitbit and car keys found with body. Yeah, Nicola's Fitbit watch and car keys were recovered along with her body, a senior police officer who investigated her disappearance said. Asked what was found with her body on February, Rebecca Smith, the infamous Rebecca Smith, like defensive and really right and pleasant Rebecca Smith, told arrogant, I would say. She told the inquest her Fitbit watch and her set of Mercedes car keys. Okay. Fitbit stopped counting at 9:30. Okay, so that's when she was either pushed and then concealed, or when she was abducted from the place, not into the river, but she was taken away from there. Okay, or maybe she was incapacitated, she fell on the ground, and maybe that's when her phone fell. Okay, who knows? And that is why it stopped counting steps. But remember, it was 8 minutes. It was 9:22 when her heart started rushing, like beating very rapidly, and it stretched 8 minutes more, which is quite a long time, until her footsteps stopped. So yeah, that is weird, isn't it? I mean, so you have an altercation, and your heartbeat goes up, but you're still walking, you're still moving your legs for 8 minutes. That's a long time, and it doesn't compute with the narrative, official narrative, that, oh, she drowned, it was so quickly, wasn't it? Well, if it was so quickly, why would she be 8 minutes walking on the sea, on the river, in the river? Who does that? Who, if someone drowns, is very quick. If those steps were the Fitbit recording her moving legs in the water for 8 minutes, I mean, that means that she would be she would have been capable of surviving. She would perfectly. She knew the river like the palm of her like the back of her hand. So it doesn't make any sense. Again, it's like another like catch 22. It's just impossible. Nothing computes. Everything contradicts itself. All the information. Which is it? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. It would make sense that she was attacked, and she was taken. She for 8 minutes walking. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Maybe she was moving her legs when she was taken. Maybe she was pushed in the river, like I said before, and she was trying to get up from there and to to climb out of it, but somebody was stopping her from coming up from the river, and that maybe that it was like an 8 minute struggle, and that's when she drowned and her legs stopped moving. Either way, it's a really weird scenario from that 9:22 to 9:30 when her the Fitbit stopped recording steps. Okay, it's 8 minutes, which is quite a long time. It is quite a long time for somebody to, like, you drown in 8 minutes. That's impossible. If her legs were moving in the river frantically because she fell, okay, and the Fitbit was recording those like steps as steps for 8 minutes. I mean, then it means that she could have perfectly. She was a good swimmer. She was strong. She knew what she was doing. She knew the river, and she knew how to get to safety. So what happened there? What happened in those 8 minutes? What happened at 9:30? It's impossible that she would have survived 8 minutes in the water and go to a safe place, which was really easy actually. It was really near, and but then what? She lost the battle. It doesn't make any sense. It's impossible for me, unless she was pushed. Okay, she for 8 minutes is like she's struggling, and somebody is watching her, and they are not going to let her come up from the river. They want her gone because because either because it was a big altercation, uh, or she was what? If she was abducted, so she adrenaline rushes at 9:22, and then it's recorded. The steps are recorded for 8 minutes more. Was she what taken walking? That doesn't make any sense, doesn't it? That's it. If you look at it, what do you think, guys? I mean, the wording, the times are very important. Very important. Give me a second. Need some water. So, yeah, I mean, there's a weird story there, because the inquest says that she drowned quickly. She made that very, like, she pushed that narrative that the river was like the Atlantic Ocean, and she couldn't have survived, so she drowned in like 2 seconds, wasn't it? Something like that. I mean, it was really pushed that she would have drowned really quickly, but she didn't, did she? She took her 8 minutes to drown. I don't believe. I mean, that's impossible for me, because if she was moving her legs for 8 minutes after the adrenaline rush, the fear, okay, then she would have been able to scream, "Please help me, help me, help me," whatever, and somebody would have seen her and would have rescued her, okay? So let's see what the people are saying. Hello, Debbie, Deborah, Bainon. Hello, everyone. Happy Independence Day to all. Thank you. Happy Independence Day to you as well. And yeah, the instant drowning, Martin says that instant drowning theory is rubbish. Whatever happened, that definitely could have. Yeah, I mean, it's impossible. I mean, just from the data and the times that they say in the official inquest, so it's officially irrefutable because it's official. They said she drowned quickly. She would have drowned quickly. But it took her 8 minutes to drown. I mean, when you fall into cold water, 8 minutes is a damn long time. In 8 minutes, if she was moving her legs in the river for 8 minutes, she would have. It's because he knew how to swim. She knew how to go to the safe place in the river, which, by the way, was really nearby. She would have known what to do. So she was knowing what to do. She knew what she was doing in those 8 minutes, which are crucial, okay? But she didn't make it. Why? Why didn't she make it? Okay? How could they accept the theory that she just drowned by an accident when if she was in the river swimming for 8 minutes after the first scare, the heartbeat going up, um, how didn't she survive? It doesn't make any sense to me. It means she was doing well. She was going to a safe place to climb up from the river, and she doesn't make it. She drowns. It doesn't make absolutely no sense to me. What it does make sense to me is she had an altercation. Remember, Penny was there at 9:32. Okay, it could be Penny, it could be all her family, the other guy, the grandson, all the family. Someone could have gone over there to see what happened from her family and intervened and made it worse. Okay, so maybe what they did was they stopped her from climbing up. They followed her by the river, but she would have been screaming, wouldn't she? And the witnesses just heard one scream. You see, it doesn't make any sense. And the fact that it doesn't make any sense, how could you rule that as a accidental death? It's impossible for me. They should have, like, investigate this as a suspicious case. It's so clear to me. It's so suspicious. It really deserved a criminal investigation because it doesn't match, the data doesn't match with reality. It's impossible to drown, but 8 minutes before you were doing okay after the first scare, when your heart goes up. It doesn't make sense. She would have survived if that was the case. Unless they drowned her, whoever that was, or if they abducted her, I don't know how she could have moved her legs, unless they transported her for 8 minutes long, or maybe she was struggling. Okay, if you attack someone, you take them by surprise, right? Because this was very quick. So maybe you take her, maybe you put a duct tape on her mouth. You have to incapacitate her speech so she doesn't keep on screaming, right? If this was on land, not in the river, not in water, this okay, you grab someone, you incapacitate their speech, so they put a rag on her mouth and maybe just a man's mouth. Of course, Penny could have done this because Penny is an elderly woman, so there was an accomplice here. There was a man. He had to be young, he had to be strong, okay, taller than NIKKI, but not necessarily, but a man, okay, or a very, very strong woman, okay. Remember, NIKKI was, even though she was just 6'3", she wasn't very tall, but she was very fit, okay. She was strong. Let's see what the people are saying. Hello, eight people watching now. Hi. Martin says, I don't think she entered the water at all. She left the area somehow, yeah, because it doesn't make sense that she could have survived in the water for 8 minutes and then drown. Okay, so Deborah says, I am so sorry I'm late. Don't worry, you can, then after I finish, you can go back. You can now go back, but I mean, you can wait and then you go back to the recording of the live. So, so this is crucial. So if she was taken on land, right? If she was abducted on land, she had to be, someone put her his or her hand over her mouth to incapacitate her speech, or they put a rag, or they put an arm. I don't know. And what? Then they dragged her towards either beyond the kissing gate or via the stile. And um, if I'm not incorrect, there are other ways into the caravan park. But if it was by that point by the bench, uh, they could have done it very quickly. Uh, but of course, they had to be more people there, like, watching, like, come on, come on, come on, come on, like, now, 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 do it, okay? If it was from the point of the bench towards the caravan park, okay? There had to be more people. Obviously, there were men, I'm sure of it, and they just dragged her quickly, because it's very quick to go quickly to get quickly to the caravan park, and there are many bushes there, many hidden places there. Uh, and I'm just going by the footage I have watched many times, many footages of the place. So the people who, if they were from the caravan park, they know the area very well. And they dragged her, and she was moving her legs frantically. So maybe that was the recording. And they dragged her, and maybe they had to hide her because people were coming in and out of the towpath of the path. And that is why maybe she was maybe they had like a lock on her head, like those type of like arm locks, and they put a rag in her mouth or a tape. But she wasn't if she was moving her legs, she wasn't like put chloroform or whatever, because if it was chloroform, she would have gone to sleep, and she wouldn't be moving her legs, right? So they didn't have the chloroform. Maybe this was just like a quick thing, like something that happened, like the altercation, Martin says. And they dragged her. They had to hide with her beneath the bushes because people were coming. So, but they were like really close in her mouth. But she was kicking. Maybe she was kicking, and that is what the Fitbit recorded. What do you think? Martin says, the more I thought about this, the more I'm certain of foul play. Yes. And the less confidence I have in Lanc's police. Yes, I think Lancashire Constabulary are all corrupt. And then he says she might have been taken over the stile or even carried unconscious to Rowan Park. Yeah, but if she wasn't conscious, it wouldn't have recorded leg movement, right? Because if you understand, I mean, actually, yeah, the top field is in Rowan, where Rowan Water is. And that's a possibly scenario because it's very secluded. There's a door that only the owner can open, I think, and there's a body of water there where she could have been drowned. Like, it, maybe it wasn't Penny, maybe it was the fisherman from Roma, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, Penny came at the gate at 9:30, and then she alleges, "Oh, I discovered the phone and the dog." What? And what? And but NIKKI, it doesn't make sense. She had to know. She knows something, Penny, and she's not saying. Maybe because she knows she's frail and she's scared of the assailants. Who knows? I mean, it's a tiny village. Everybody knows everybody's business. So she's a hard woman. She's a tough cookie. She seems like unpleasant woman. So I'm sure she has She knows everyone there. She knows the fishermen, she knows throwing water, and who knows what dealings they have with each other, right? Because if her family, half her family are criminals, well, not half, but we know of one at least that has been arrested for beating someone up with a baseball bat. That's right there. You have violent tendencies in that family. They have criminals in that family. So I don't know. I think that she was kicking for 8 minutes until they could properly incapacitate her. What did they do? Maybe I don't know. Um, Maybe then they could use the chloroform when they took her to a safe place. Safe place for them, for the assailants. Okay, they took her to a safe place after all these 8 minutes. So the struggle lasted 8 minutes because she was moving her legs, right? Maybe another scenario, but it doesn't make sense. No, I was going to say she was running for her life. It doesn't make sense because she would have been screaming her life out. No, it doesn't make sense. She remember, it was a short scream, like a gasping, like inhale, like and then nothing more, and then footsteps or legs moving for 8 minutes, and then nothing. Okay, so I think someone either incapacitated her, dragged her, she was kicking, they had to hide because people going in about, and then they drag her further to a safe place for them, and then she's maybe gagged, maybe then she's killed, maybe then she's drowned, because they have, I mean, in these 8 minutes that for me are like it's the most important time, okay, according to the but if I go by the times of the inquiry, okay, then is those 8 minutes are crucial. I think she was the more, because you have to be realistic. What had to happen for Nicola to be kicking, to be walking, to be moving her legs for 8 more minutes after the heart rate went up? Okay, I think she was dragged. It has to be plausible, it has to be realistic. Okay, so if it was in wrong water that she had the altercation, it was very easy for them to go through the gate, and then and there's water there. It could be a scenario, yeah, but wouldn't be like a really like a, I mean, it would have been really difficult, really dangerous, because there you would have been in the open field and people could have seen you. um no, I think it was with Penny. I think it's the Penny family. And yeah, what happened in those 8 minutes from 9:22 to 9:30, and then nothing? Then she was incapacitated. Okay, but they don't say that. And there's, what does it say here? It's Fitstep stop counting steps. Okay, and NIKKI had an iPhone, and this is very important. Bear that in your mind, because this will be important afterward when they talk about her mobile. What she did with the mobile, the buttons being pressed, it's an iPhone, guys. DC Greenhall told an inquest into her death that Nicola Bulley's iPhone was recovered from a bench. Actually, it was on the ground initially. The phone was intact and there was no sign that it had been in the water. Yeah, if she fell, why? It doesn't make sense that her phone wouldn't be with her, right? Speaking about her Fitbit watch, she went on, my initial thoughts were that the device lost power on February 4, 2023. He said there were no further steps recorded beyond 9:30 on January 27. Okay, and yeah, so those 8 minutes are crucial, really crucial. What? It is impossible in that tiny river to drown in 8 minutes. You will have found safety. Nicola was a strong woman, and we have talked about, her clothes will have stopped the cold rush, the cold, shock a few seconds, so she could react. She was a swimmer. She was young. She was fit. Um, what would I mean? There are so many avenues I could go down here, down from this information alone, but they need to make sense. They need to be logical. Okay, so let's go. Timings. DC Keith Greenhall said he believes Nicola fell into the water between 9:18 and 9:30. Why 9:18 if the heart rate was at 9:22? It's funny how these people like play with the timings, right? He told the inquest analysis of her iPhone and Fitbit watch data suggests the very possibility she very possibly entered the water at 9:22. Yeah. And then she swam for 8 minutes and she didn't make it. No, not on your life. It's impossible. Okay, so the day one is finished. Proceedings have now finished for today and will resume at 10 on Tuesday. You can get more blah blah blah. So yeah, what do we think about that? So today, with this, I conclude the day one of NIKKI inquest. But those 8 minutes are crucial and they are the key into what really happened to her. I insist that it's impossible if she drowned, and they said she would have drowned very quickly in a matter of seconds. What her legs kept walking. It doesn't make sense. If she did move her legs for 8 minutes in the water, then it means that she was making it. She was going swimming to a safe place so she could climb back. It doesn't make, and so many minutes, 8 minutes, isn't it like a really long time to be moving your legs in the river? Yeah, maybe she was like taking her time in the river so she could go with the current and then paddle. I don't know. Or if she was abducted because of the rush, then she was kicking her legs until the assailants were able to totally incapacitate her. And then maybe she drowned at 9:30, okay? Or just a little bit later when she was out of sight. Yeah? Maybe she was thrown in the river and drowned. With this, anything could have happened. But then we have day two where they talk a little bit about the state of her body, the bruising, which we have talked about before. The bruising, it's impossible to bruise if you're dead. How did she come to those bruises if you just went to the river and drowned? It's impossible for me, not in my mind. And so those bruises were made by the assailants when she was. Imagine someone drags you by your arm and you kick and and they say she had bruising in her face. It could be when they grabbed her by the mouth, so she couldn't speak, she couldn't scream, right? And but the bruising on her body, it makes sense if she was abducted and she was kicking with her legs for 8 minutes. Maybe it took 8 minutes because they had to hide for a bit because dog walkers were passing by. But they put their hand on her mouth. She couldn't scream. You know what I mean. But she was kicking, and it makes sense from that scenario that she would come by with those bruises. The bruises would have been made by her assailant. They grabbed her by the arm, they locked her in the neck, or in the face, her head, So that is why she had bruising to, I think it was in the face, in the thighs, in the leg, and the arm. Yeah. Of course, she wasn't strangled because the pathology says she wasn't strangled, but that she drowned. But once you incapacitate someone and you think that she has to go in the river as a drowning victim, like an accident, you're going to. These people are quick thinkers. They think on their feet, and this is typical of people who live in that area. They know the area. They know the people very well. They know the timings. So this was definitely done by very local people, like the picture you can see. Local people. And then when 9:30 came round, so somebody took Willow. Somebody held Willow, and and maybe they fastened Willow to the bench. Penny said she did that, but a man took Nicola, okay, from the family. It's very possible. It's a good theory, I think, because it has to make sense, because the conclusion of the inquest doesn't make any sense unless they know something we don't. And why would they know something we don't? Why make it so private? Why, if she really drowned by accident, why not let it all out in the open so the people can have closure too, Why? Because it didn't happen that way. Okay, but for the Lancashire police, it's easier, like the other cases of people drowning in the river, people hanging, like strangling themselves with a pajama top. It's like, yeah, this is what happened, I don't want to bother. I think that constabulary is utterly corrupt. Not only because of the NIKKI fail, but because of the other cases, it doesn't seem like they want to bother really. So let's see if there are people, what they are saying. Deborah says Nicola was absolutely abducted. Did you hear about her phone? Seems there is an emergency button that were enabled. Yes, exactly. And this goes with this only can happen on an iPhone, and NIKKI had an iPhone, and I'm going to talk about that on the second day of the inquest. But they report that the button, the power button and the volume button were operated at the same time or almost at the same time, and they have people who actually love NIKKI and are investigating this case, like we all are here. They said that when they do that on their iPhone, the emergency their on the screen appears an emergency option to call 999, I assume. So maybe she was so scared, because she was altercating with Penny, and then somebody else from her family, maybe, I don't want to name names, that are not in the witness list, but you know who I'm talking about, okay? Maybe another, I'm sure another man from that family came to Penny, and NIKKI was so scared because of the altercation that she tried to push the buttons to call 999 like an emergency, and it releases an emergency alert on the iPhone. Okay, that's another possibility that they haven't considered. Why not? um oh, Deborah Bainon says, I love your accent, Gritty. Thank you, Debbie. Oh, thanks. Someone in the comments said they actually had to get used to my accent because they couldn't understand what I was saying. But thank you, Debbie. You're a sweetheart. And it says, yeah. Martin says, just when the original altercation was reported. Yeah, there was an altercation. Everybody's hush hush. Why? It's like nobody in that village wants to bother. They don't give a fuck about someone dying that way. I mean, it's like I'm truly appalled, really. And let's see with the comments. Go with the comments. Deborah says, why are they trying so hard to stop people from talking about the case? Because you have to look at this. Okay, we know they are not telling the truth. Okay, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They're not. And so why? Because I think, well, if you take into account that Lancashire police is corrupt, in order for a police or whatever institution to be corrupt, it has to be corrupt from the up towards the down. So the top is corrupt, because otherwise the lower ranks wouldn't be corrupt. If the lower ranks of the police are corrupt, it's because the higher ranks are corrupt as well. It works that way. Corruption works that way. So, and I think that Penny and those people, those families who apparently have power in St. Michael's, I'm sure they have connections with powerful organizations like the Freemasons. We know lots of police, especially high-ranking police officers. Actually, I have a high-ranking police officer from Lancashire in Freemason attire. I have to find the photograph. Oh my God. I can't look for it now because it will be a mess. But, oh dear. Let me see how many people are watching. Let's see. Let's go with the comments. So yes, Deborah, to answer your question, why are they trying so hard to stop? Because they are Freemasons who have in the police in Lancashire, high-ranking Freemasons. Paul knows his friend is a Freemason. We know that for a fact because we have the pictures. He's the one who provided security. He's the thuggish guy who provided security for Paul against the public. Oh my God, because we are so horrible, right? For wanting to find the actual truth about NIKKI, right? And so there is a Freemason involvement in the case, I feel. And those people, the Freemasons, they always make cover up for each other. So for example, you are a Freemason, right? Or you are the best friend of a Freemason and you get in trouble. So you abduct Nicola, something happens and you kill Nicola, okay? But you need covering up. So what do? You ask your friend, a Freemason, or a police officer who is a Freemason and you are a Freemason, or a Freemason, and they do a favor for you, okay? And they cover up, yeah? Why? Because maybe, I don't know, but maybe Penny has power in that village. I mean, they definitely are very thuggish and criminal, and They seem, it's like they are untouchable. And it's not only Penny, other people in that village that involved with the case, uh, it seems like they are untouchable. So we have the touchables and we have the untouchables. So we have the people in the village who have certain power and contacts, and they have the police on quick dial, like the Marsh Farm Hall people, right? They have the police on the quick dial. Okay, so I don't know, maybe, yeah. I mean, it is really strange, isn't it? Because maybe the Lancashire police, they knew that someone that they did dirty business with were involved in the NIKKI case, like the people of the, of the Penny Lane. And so, yeah, there you have. I mean, it's just connections, It's power, it's knowing people, the right people. Maybe the police owed a favor to Penny Lane and company. Who knows? Let's see. The abduction theory makes the most sense of all the data, possibly forcibly taken to raw water then later disposed of. Yeah, that would make sense from the drowning point of view, because they have a private body of water. So it will be very easy to dispose of NIKKI there and then dump her on the river. Yeah. Possibly a dispute turned into something serious and had to be covered up. Whatever, it was done quickly and secretly. Yes. Yeah. I mean, maybe NIKKI knew something about them. I mean, it's a small town. It's a small town. And another thing that really caught my attention. This is just another, nothing to do with Penny. Who knows? But NIKKI's boss, the one she talked to on the one she sent her email to, and the one who was leading the team's call that morning, he was to appear. He was supposed to appear as a witness at the inquest, day 2, along with Paul, etc., but he didn't. And then his name was erased from the data, from the news, from the websites who were reporting on the case. Okay, so what is going on there? Why was NIKKI's voice supposed to give testimony at the inquest, but then he didn't, and his name was erased from the web pages that were updating on her case? I saw it with my own eyes. I swear on my life, I saw that when I was the day of the 26th of June, the day of the inquest, day 1. I was reading the updates in Lancashire Live, and then when I got to the top, to the end, it said, okay, so tomorrow on day 2, there's going to be Paul and Louise, NIKKI's sister, and it's going to be NIKKI's boss on the witness list to give testimony. He didn't, and he was erased. His name was erased from the pages. Why is that? Why did that happen? And I mean, you see, my point is not, I'm not claiming to have the truth. What I'm saying is enough shady business here to reopen the case and really, really investigate it. But if Lancashire police didn't want to bother, and they didn't bother, if the family don't want to bother, and they didn't, bother, and if the coroner and the barristers, they don't bother, they don't want to bother, then it's done. I mean, it's not going to be reopened, unless a miracle happened, All I'm saying is the verdict was terrible. It's the sign of corruption. of wanting to silence the truth, you know? And it should have been open verdict at the very least, not accident, because there's no indication that the accident happened. And okay, nine people watching now. Hello, good evening, everyone. um it's almost 10 o'clock there in UK, so I just finished the day one, and if you go back and listen to this podcast, you will I dissect the tiny details, the scenarios. Okay, if you say that between this time and this time this happened, okay, what did actually happen? Because it could not happen what you said happened. It could not have happened what the coroner says concluded happened. Okay, it's impossible to drown in the river in 2 seconds and then what? Walk for 8 more minutes? Oh dear. This is like, it's so, you know what? They are the real ghouls. The police, the culprits, the village that are silencing the truth, knowingly silencing the truth, and members of the family who are silencing the truth, friends who are silencing the truth, and of course, the coroner who silenced the truth. He was the pilot who washed his hands off NIKKI's. You know, he was the final betrayer, okay? And Martin says, another dodgy thing about the sham inquest. Her boss should have testified. Yes, exactly. It's what I said a minute ago. It was on the text of the Lang's live updates. When the day one was finished, they said, okay, so tomorrow the witnesses are going to be Paul, Luis, and I think it was another person, and NIKKI's boss. He never testified, and his name was erased from the websites, the news websites. Can you believe that? And I have my theory about her boss. Something happened that had to do with something about her work, her boss, and something that happened the day before, the 26th of January. Something happened, and something happened. There is a legend saying that NIKKI knew something, that she discovered something, and that she put something on her page and then she deleted it. And I believe that's true. That is the truth. And that definitely something, maybe it's one of those oddities, you know, one of those rarities that happen just once, you know, once in 1,000 years, you know, that everything comes together in a single point of you know, conflict, and it explodes. And there's more to this, I think. Or maybe the penny thing was just an accident, like an accidental altercation, or maybe it was planned, you know. Like I said before, if it was planned, then we have the man in black, who I think that he would have acted as a watch out, as how do you say it? As a watch out, and if it was planned, then we have more people involved here, not just Penny, Lane, and Co. Okay, so this could be two scenarios: just an altercation between her, someone in wrong waters, or Penny and Co. and that's it. It's all in the family, just kept in the family. Or if it was planned, then it accounts for the whole cover-up. It accounts better for the whole cover-up. And we have her boss who disappeared, okay, from the testimonies. And we know something happened to her the day before. she died, the day before of she disappeared. And they say it's a legend now, like she discovered something the day before, and she someone deleted it for her, or she did out of fear. But then, because she knew, maybe it's that's when the plan took place. But then I don't know about that. That's really more like speculation. But I know for a fact that she deleted something from her phone the day before she disappeared. Okay, so uh 9 people watching still. Nice. A lookout. Yeah, thank you, Martin. It's not a watch out, it's a lookout. Yeah, that's my Spanish mind. So give me a second. So yeah, what do you think, guys? I mean, this is a cover up for sure. This is foul play. She didn't drown by accident. It's impossible, you know. Like they say, the truth is always in the lie, by the lies and in the details you find the truth, okay? So, just by the Fitbit information, and by the way, they're having people who also are one Justice for NIKKI, who have written to the Fitbit company and asked questions on their own, independently. And the reps have said that a Fitbit does not record heartbeat if it is in swim mode. Oh dear. So if she fell, her Fitbit wouldn't go into swim mode, would it? Unless she was going to the beach and, okay, I'm going to go swimming. It should it needed to be summer for that, and she was on the beach and she puts the Fitbit and she puts it in swim mode so it can record her heartbeat and all her data. That's a huge one, guys. So the Fitbit company, many people asked this to the Fitbit company, and they said that a Fitbit, if it's not switched into swim mode, it doesn't record heartbeat. Okay, so if it doesn't record heartbeat, if it's not in swim mode, and it wouldn't have been, because if she just fell by accident, right, or if she was murdered, it wouldn't be on swim mode. So if it didn't record heartbeat, then how the hell do we have heartbeats until the 4th of February? How is that possible when the Fitbit people are telling you that it doesn't record heartbeats because it needs to be on the swim mode when you go into the water? Okay, so that's another little bit of information that doesn't compute with the official narrative, with the lie. Okay. Deborah says, I think Penny does have a lot of power. Some of the photos I saw of her were of a very angry person. Yeah, she is. She's angry. She's unpleasant. I don't think she treats people well. I think she's a bully. Well, you have to see the rest of her family, right? The men, especially in her family, and to see that one of them at least had been arrested for violence with a baseball bat. He was a crook. And then we have the other guy in her life, the other relative, who I believe was the one who was when the altercation happened. Okay. And yeah, I mean, only a miracle could actually bring the truth for all to see. And for, if there is this level of corruption and not wanting to bother and just going, following the narrative, and so we are done with it. We don't want any more bother. We just want to take our cup of tea in peace, don't bother us. you buggers, you stupid public, you goals, social media goals, leave us alone, right? Um, yeah, if that's, and it is the attitude, if that continues to be the attitude of the Lancashire constabulary, then we won't ever have the truth, okay? Unless someone decides to talk. I hope to God that someone knows something there, and I know people know something what happened there. They decide to talk someday, okay? But for now, there is more than sufficient evidence that the coroner gave the wrong verdict. It should have been open verdict, open, not death by accident. You cannot twist the truth like that in such, and especially if you have, that rank, if you are the Her Majesty's coroner. How can you be, how are you not ashamed of yourself? I would love to ask that to Dr. Adley, and I just hope the truth comes out, but I know in my heart of hearts that it should have been open verdict, and something bad happened to Nikki, okay? So and someone turned those cameras off. I mean, yeah, the camera is very easy to turn off. There's people there all the time in the caravan park. They could have done it perfect. I mean, just, it wouldn't be something difficult, right? If you live there, if you know the area, it's in the middle of nowhere, right? Martin says those 8 minutes hold the key to the mystery, and none of the cameras were operating. Yep. Actually, have you actually noticed that they never have Nikki on camera? The only camera they have Nikki on is on her freaking house. What about her? Like, I don't know, crossing Garston Lane, and like, how, why wasn't she caught on any camera? How is that possible? Other people were caught on camera, but she was not. There's no cameras working in Garston Lane or whatever, or Blackpool Lane. It's incredible that she wasn't caught on any camera. And if she had been, they didn't show us. The police didn't show it to us. Why? Because they don't have it. They don't have the Nikki on camera anywhere. Okay. But it's like they are so sure that it's just bad. It's just bad policing. They handle the case like really negatively, really badly. They are not serious. They are the ghouls. They are the ones who are not serious. They are the ones who are actually doing harm by letting killers get away with murder. So yeah, it's blood on your hand, guys, not on us. Don't put it on the public. We're not going to take that. We're not stupid. I mean, it's the 21st century. I mean, we have the tools to investigate. We have, we're not idiots, but you are corrupt. So let's see. Yeah. Deborah says, Nikki found something big. Yeah, if it was, I mean, I know she deleted something from her phone the day before, which is really weird. Really weird. If you really think about it, it's why the day before she deleted something when everything was, why would she need to do that? What was that she deleted on the 26th of January? And nobody talked about that. Nobody said anything. Yeah, from the school, Martin says, from the school onwards, she's seen once in Blackpool Lane. Never seen alive again on camera. I didn't know that. I didn't know that she was seen in Blackpool Lane. I didn't see that photo, because all the photos that we have, they are from her house, So yeah. Hello, 8 people. So I have been. It's almost over 2 hours now. So I'm going to go off now. So yeah, this concludes the day one of the inquest, and we have unpacked so many things. And I'm doing this just for NIKKI. I want this to be on internet forever, so people in the future, if they want, can come to these channels and just hear what we have to say, and that the coroner's verdict is bullshit. That's bad business. So yeah. So I wish you all a great night, and I hope I just hope I wish everybody had their answers. And but all we can do is just find the truth, be on the truth side, yeah, be representatives of the truth, and in this case it's for NIKKI. Okay, so happy Independence Day to everyone in the world who is free. Okay, and see you soon, very soon again. Hello, old hippie. Oh, old hippie, gritty. I can't stop to listen now, but will later. Add me into your count on those online. Oh, old hippie. Hi. Martin, thanks, gritty. Keep searching. You gotta keep searching, searching. Da 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 da, searching, searching. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Woo. That's a nice. I love that song. You gotta keep searching, searching. Yeah. I mean, we are always searching. I mean, I just want the truth. I want to make sure that people know that this inquest, it was bullshit. It should have been open verdict, okay? And there's no justice for NIKKI yet, okay? So have a great day and see you very soon. Love you. Bye.